When I was younger, I used to do a lot of drugs with this particular friend, and we got along really well. We were both similar in the way that we like to analyze ourselves and everything and understand the world around us and deeper levels. We had that craving for deeper things, and we were really good friends for a while. We had our fair share of falling outs, though, but one of the things I think stuck us together the most was the fact that we were just voraciously hungry for getting high. Drinking, drugs, anything we could get, we would get it. We would put our resources together and just find a way. Eventually, we stopped talking. I quit. I quit drinking and everything when I was 23, and I didn't hear or see from him for a long time. A few years ago now, maybe two, I think, I was just walking down the street in the city that I live in, and I saw him, and he was homeless. And I obviously spoke to him, and it was heartbreaking for me, but it didn't seem that heartbreaking for him. I could tell that there was something going on with him. He would mention weird things about the trees talking to him and stuff, but largely he was fairly lucid. And he was still quite insightful and analytical like he was. And I had so many questions. I was like, how does someone end up like this? And he said that it's not as bad as it seems like it is from my point of view. For him, it was pretty bad for a few months when he first became homeless, but he said he just got used to it. Ultimately, it's a lifestyle choice that it allows him to not have to deal with other people in a living circumstance, and it frees up rent money in order so he can spend it on drugs. This, in many ways, affected me very deeply and changed my life. I couldn't stop thinking about him and everything for a long time afterwards. I was somewhat incapacitated by this. I felt like it was a part of me that it was happening to. And in a way I could see that had I not have stopped, I could have been that, and I came face to face with it. But you can see in every city has it, where we have the areas where around the cities where there are a ton of homeless people. It's only growing now. It's getting more and more. And it seems that the more challenging the economic circumstances, the more that this issue grows. But a lot of it is the end result of a lifetime of drugs. This is people who did not stop and allowed these urges to take more drugs to take over everything. So they become mentally disabled. So they become homeless in order to save resources. I would say this is the majority of it. If you choose to follow your addictive impulses, that this is one of the inevitable ends of that. Depravity. Mental disability, desperation, homelessness, illness, death. So the second outcome of following these addictive urges is we reach a type of physical success, because a lot of entrepreneurs and very successful people are just following the addictive urge for money, for power, for success, for this. It's just a different type of one, and it's very difficult to balance the addictive urge for substances with the addictive urge for things like working and success and all that. So you can go down that route and follow those addictive urges and reach a high level of financial and whatever success you'd like. It doesn't mean that you're going to be much happier. It doesn't mean that there's going to be any level of peace. You may become extremely proud of yourself. You may have financial rewards. You may be surrounded by people. But largely, there's going to be a lack of peace. And there's nothing wrong with these things. If you want to choose one, go for it. The last one is that the addictive urge can follow a path towards awakening. Having been around these kinds of people for a fair while in my past, because I was into that, I noticed that they all have this, and they have this addictive energy. In order to break out of a lot of illusions, it is required to become somewhat obsessed. But these addictive urges can be a gateway into a greater level of peace and harmony in your life, if you want. It just takes a different way of looking at them. Rather than following them and getting caught up in the stories that they provide, we just create distance. We just watch them come and go, and we don't act on them. This allows us to eventually reach a kind of awakening where we realize that we aren't our thoughts, that we are the infinite consciousness that watches the thoughts. No phenomena is permanent. All urges will go. You can just allow them to go a bit easier by detaching from them, by just watching them float by and not getting involved in the sensations and thoughts and emotions. This is traditionally called mindfulness. But take this as far as you can, and you start to question what you really are, who you really are, whether this label I is an actual label, whether what our thoughts are adding to reality in order to create illusions about it. So this energy that we have as people who have an addictive persona can be used in very powerful ways. You can destroy yourself. You can create a massive amount of physical success. Or you can go for the awakening route. It is up to you. You just have to make a simple choice. It's not easy. None of those three are easy. But it just depends on the result that you want, and it's there for you. You can experience them all, but you can't have them all at the same time. You need to pick one. For me, what makes sense is that we experience the depravity when we're younger. We realize it's not for us. So we put our energy into becoming rich or powerful or successful in some way, becoming financially free. Then once that's achieved, the energy can go, because you have time then, the energy can go into meditation and spiritual matters. But you could do either of them in any order you want. You might just go straight for the spiritual path. It doesn't matter. It is your journey. But that's all I wanted to talk about today. Just something I was thinking about. This energy that we have is very powerful. It's very beautiful. It changes worlds. It changes your world, which changes everyone else around you. So just make the intelligent choice that's right for you. Thanks, guys.